What is up, guys? Your boy Masamola, and welcome to another episode of Rugby Chat with Masamola. Now, you guys know what happened during this weekend. We had this Vodacom Super Fan Showdown, and it was a great game. I was so excited to see all the South African teams back in action again, and boy, did they not disappoint. All right, so in today's episode, we're just going to be checking how they did. We're not going to be too harsh and criticize them too much. We're just going to check how they did, and how they can improve going forward and what the season awaits for them that's coming up. Enjoy. All right, so let's talk about the first game that we had this weekend, which was, of course, the Blue Bulls versus the Sharks. That game was absolutely fantastic. I loved the way that the game was played out. Obviously, the Blue Bulls running out 49-28 winners, and in what was a masterclass. I absolutely loved the way the Bulls played. Now, the few things that I loved, and I'm going to discuss the Bulls first. The few things that I loved so much about the Bulls was the coming together and the gelling of the experienced players and the youth players. It looked as if they were in sync with one another, and I think Jake White has absolutely done a fantastic job in ensuring that all these players have come together. And you can obviously see there's still a building phase to everything, but if you look at the way the experienced players played, now if we look at Gio Aplon, he was absolutely amazing. That step that we always know, "Binna beta, see you later, goodbye." He was just doing it. He was there. He was up front. You look at Mornay Steyn, the old man. He was old, but the way you could see that with his age comes experience as well. If you look at the first kickoff of the game that he had, he just kicked the ball. The Bulls already gained territory. They had a line out in the Sharks' 22, which was absolutely fantastic. I think he was just playing that role as a general so well. You look at the guys like Cornel Hendricks, who is a winger, who was playing center. He was able to just adapt to that role, and it was absolutely amazing. I love the way the Bulls played. And then you look at the youngsters. You look at Kurtley Arendse, when he was playing, he did well. You look at the guys, Skalk Erasmus, he came on, he played, he scored a try. He was just there. It was just perfect. I think the system just worked so well for the Bulls, and I have to really commend Jake White in what he was doing. And you can clearly tell that he is a man with a lot of experience, World Cup winner and all of that. So it was absolutely amazing to see that. The Bulls, the forward pack, the way the forward pack gelled together in the scrums. I mean, you look at how Chair was suffering against Trevor Nyakane, because he was just working him, and there was a part where the ref said that no, he's just working him too much, and you could see in Dwayne's face, he was just saying, "Carry on, Trevor, just carry on the way you are." And the way the Bulls players were supporting each other. You look at the runners, the amount of support that was there. Quick ball. Evan van Sail was just able to get quick ball because the forwards were doing that job for them. And it was just brilliant the way the Bulls were playing together. There's not a lot that I could say that the Bulls need to fix. But what I would like to recommend is that, and you guys can let me know in the comments below, is that I think as a supporter, when you see your team so far 30 plus points ahead in the first half, you would like to see them get the score ticking the second half, but obviously that has to do with what the Sharks were doing. I think the Sharks actually played really well in the second half. So it was a good performance by the Bulls. It was an absolutely fantastic performance by the Bulls. I really think they did well, and I really have to commend Jake White and the team and the boys. Perfectly led from the front, and all the way to the back. It was just amazing, and I'm really happy with the Bulls' performance. Like I said, what happened earlier this year was not going to happen again. The Blue Bulls were just too good. Now let's look at the Sharks. The Sharks team, for me, we could tell that it was locked down. A lot of players haven't been busy for about 5 to 6 months, half a year. So it was a bit tough for them. I think that the Sharks team is very talented. I feel as if they have what it takes to get to the level that they want to be. It's just that on the day the Combos were just not communicating. It's as simple as that. Technically the Blue Bulls just beat them to the pulp. If you look at how Kerwin Bosch. You look at Kerwin Bosch, and then you look at Morne Steyn. The way the two were playing, it felt like Morne was more comfortable than Kerwin was. The kicking, sometimes the Kerwin would kick the ball too far, and you didn't give his chasers enough to work with. That was my problem with the Sharks. If you look at the forward pack for the Sharks, it seemed as if they were just working 1-1. They were not working as a full pack, which was a real struggle for them. And that was mainly my concern with the Sharks' performance. There was obviously a few players who tried their best. You look at Grant Williams, who was a scrum half, who came in and he was just forward. He was doing everything. He wanted his team to be in the front foot. And I think when he came on, a lot of things changed. You look at guys like Sanele Nohamba. I was waiting for him to really come to life, but it just didn't happen. And you can understand, it's locked down. It's the first game of the season. We're not gonna go too hard on these guys and be like, oh, they should have done this and that and that. They weren't good at this and that and that. It happens. They haven't been playing for a while, and this was to be expected. But I really feel like the last 10 minutes of the first half and the first 30 of the second half, that Sharks team was on fire. It's just that the Bulls were absolutely sound when it came to defense. So it was a bit of a problem for them. The Bulls just did not let them breathe. They absolutely did not let them breathe, which comes to show that a shark is not good underwater, but outside of water, but a bull is. That was terrible. But yeah, the Bulls really were just too much for the Sharks. They absolutely killed them, and I think a month later, bring these two teams again, I think that the Sharks will absolutely do well. Because another thing about the Sharks is that what I feel the Sharks were trying to do is that obviously they had a game plan in mind, and the Sharks wanted to be fast, they wanted to be quick, they wanted to do everything with a lot of pace. But they just couldn't adapt because the Bulls were putting them under so much pressure that they weren't able to play their game plan. But what they wanted to do is that, and you can understand it happens, what the Sharks wanted to do is that they just wanted to play everything so fast. They got the ball, they were putting off offloads that weren't on, they were kicking balls that they shouldn't be kicking. They just wanted everything to be fast, but the Bulls was just not allowing them. And I think that's when you need those experienced players to come back and say, guys, listen, our game plan at the moment is not working. These guys are putting us under a lot of pressure. Let's slow things down. Let's get back to basics. Let's play our ABCs, play the pods, get forward, get the backline involved at the end. But you could see that change, and that's why I'm saying that the first 30 minutes of the first half, the Sharks was really on top, because you had players such as JP Peterson who were on the field, who were starting to eye out things, and you could see the communication from the back. Things were starting to look up for the Sharks, and I feel as if, and I might just get punished for saying this, but I feel as if the Sharks team that was on second half played against the Bulls team that was on the first half, it would have been much, much, much closer than what it should have been. So that's what I think the Sharks coach needs to look into, and that's what I feel about the Sharks team and the Bulls, going at it against each other. You guys let me know what you think on the comments below. But yeah, I think that game was absolutely fantastic. If this game was to happen again in a month's time, it will be a much tighter contest. We're going to look at the second game of the weekend, which was, of course, the Lions and the Stormers. When we look at those two teams that played against each other, it was very tightly contested in the beginning. But first of all, let's look at the Stormers team and see how the Stormers performed. Now, when you look at the Stormers team, you could tell that the forward pack was obviously going to be very, very, very dominant. The Stormers has a lot of players who have been part of the World Cup squad, specifically looking at that front three. The front three, you look at Skara, you look at Kitshoff, you look at Francois Herber, they were under a lot of pressure. You see the guys such as Siya Kolisi leading there from the front, of course, as he always does, the captain. So that Stormers team, I feel like what they did well, and I'll be honest with you about this, is that the game would have been much more closer and much more tighter if if the Lions had a much stronger forward pack, because what happened in that game is that the Stormers were just absolutely murdering the Lions in terms of the scrums, in terms of the lineouts, forward pressure. Everything was just I felt like it was just too much for the Lions team, and you could see obviously that the Stormers boys had been working on their fitness, have been working on their scrum technique, have been working on everything and all aspects of the game, and they were just able to read out the Lions in terms of who the players was. I mean, if you look at the guys such as Raps, he was not given the time of the day. The boys such as Wandisile Simelane were just not given the time of the day because of just the resolute Stormers defense and the way that they were just playing. The guys, there were a few problems, in terms of some of the players in the Stormers. You look at Willem, so he wasn't up to standard, but of course, with the lockdown, and I sound like a broken record, but you expect this from the first game of the season. You expect things to not really go according to plan. So that game, I think it also showed that there's a lot of patience, because I look at how when the Stormers scored their last try of the half, of the first half, they scored it in the 43rd minute, if I'm not mistaken, and they had been playing continuously for about 5 minutes with ball in hand, which is absolutely fantastic. So it's amazing to see what the guys were able to do. I love the way that Herschel Yankees was playing. You could see that he didn't lose any of his touches. He was still quick, snapping inside. I look at the guys such as Wadakalant, that try that he scored, just the vision to it's so amazing, is that he had the ball in his hands, and he was running at full pace, but he still had that thing of looking up and seeing that, wait, there are two forwards, 1 and 3 there. There's a gap there. The smallest of margin, he was able to capitalize on that. I really think that was good. I love the things that the Stormers were doing. I mean, if you look at Salman Murat, the try that he assisted as well, to Dan du Plessis, where he looked up, and then he saw that, wait, there's no pillar 1, and there's a last pillar on the other side. Let me pick up the ball and let me run. So it's amazing to see what these players were doing, how sharp they were, and I was really impressed by the Stormers side. I really think that the coach for the Stormers has a lot to work on, and but I think it's mostly the good things to work on, just to make sure that they keep implementing those things and they stay on top of things. I was really impressed by this Stormers team, and I think they lived up to expectations, and I think that there's a lot to look forward to. And if you're a Stormers fan, there's a lot to be happy about. All right. So when we take a look at the Lions team, first of all, I'm just going to talk about players. We already know what happened with them against the Stormers in terms of a forward pack, so there's no need to go and revisit that. But for me, I think that Lions team was absolutely fantastic. I love the team. Even though there was a lot of errors, but I just loved the players in general. Seeing some of the younger guys, Wandisile Simelane, Hachiva, and all of those guys in the same team, mixed with, of course, Yaku Creel, who came back, and it was absolutely fantastic. I think that they did well in the game, and given a month or two, the score will completely be different. You could see that they had they had intensity. They were up for the game. It's just that, just like the Bulls and the Sharks, the Lions had this game plan in mind that they should be playing, but then they just can't put it together because of how the Stormers were putting them under pressure. So that was the problem for me in terms of the Sharks' game. I think that they could have managed the game much more differently. But then again, you look at the guys who came on second half. Now this is absolutely amazing. The guys for the Lions that came on second half are going to put the starting 15 under so much pressure. I am not even joking. There is going to be so much pressure that is going to be on that starting 15 for the Lions, because what they did was absolutely amazing. They came out there. Jumbo Olenga was coming in. He was scoring tries. He was moving people out the way. Gianni Lombard, he was fantastic. The guys were just coming out. They were playing really well. You saw this. And again, it is a situation where you look at it and you say that the Stormers team that came on first half against the Lions team that came on second half, what would the score be? It was absolutely it was amazing to see how the teams that came on second half were doing better than the teams that started. So I don't know if maybe it was a thing of that, some of the players from the Lions, of course, they were young, so they had a lot to prove. They had a lot of fire and vigor, boys eye. They had a lot of fire and enthusiasm, and I think that's what that's why they maybe will were doing so well. But I absolutely enjoyed watching the Lions second half. I think that the Lions in the first half, they didn't do as well as we would have wanted them to do. But you look at it again and you say that, but this Lions team that came on second half was starting to get a few penalties against the Stormers forward pack. It could be, there's a lot of things to look at. I don't obviously want to to say a lot about, maybe if there needs to be changes here and there. I don't think so. I think it's just the beginning of the season. But at the end of the day, I say that what happened in the first half and what happened in the second half, it was a team of two halves. You had the Lions team that came on the first half, they didn't do that well. The team that came on second half, they did a lot better. So it's going to be interesting for me. It's now what to look forward to from this Lions team. What can they do? What more is it that they can come with? How great are they going to be? And yeah, that's my take on the Lions team. And I think that there's a lot to look forward to from all teams. There's a lot to look forward to, from the Bulls, the Sharks, the Lions, the Stormers. There's a lot to look forward to. And I think these two teams, the four teams that that are competing, there's a lot to look forward to, and I'm really excited as to see what more can they do, what more can they bring, especially with the Springboks, the Springbok team coming together, the two Springbok teams coming together, and that they're going to be playing against each other. There's a lot to look forward to. I'm super excited for next weekend. It's going to be a fantastic spectacle. It's pretty much the same as the New Zealanders North versus South, but you got to be happy with what the boys put through this weekend. All four teams. I know we looked at the New Zealand rugby league, or the Super Rugby. We looked at them and we said, "Oh my goodness me, they're so good, and there's so much youth and talent that's coming through." I hope that we as a country can also provide the same, and we can also do the same. I think now we are more than a foot in. We are absolutely secure. I think with a lot of work that's going to be done behind the scenes, and a lot of things that are going to be done, the combos will be communicating, and we will be better. We will get better, and we will do better. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell me how my commenting was. Tell me how my analyst was. I don't mind. Good or bad, feedback is feedback. Love you guys, and enjoy the rest of the week.